people who work for the king. This chart shows how much salary each person gets in a day. So here we can see a chart, or we can see table, and in this table there are two columns. The first column is of person and the second column is of salary in a day. So minister is getting 195 rupees in a day. Horse rider is getting 76 rupees in a day, and a cook is getting 65 rupees in a day. Mani Ratnam wanted to calculate the salary of the cook for the month of January. He wrote, here we can see a table and we can see some calculation. Okay, so here let's first think how many days are there in January. It is how much? It is 31. Let's write 31. 31 days in January. Okay, and when it comes to amount per day which cook is getting, it is how much? It is 65 rupees. 65 rupees per day. Here let me tell you how the calculation has been performed. Okay, here 31 days has been broken into 30 and 1. Okay, similarly the amount 65 has been broken into two parts, which is 60 and 5. So here we can see 60 and the remaining 5 here. Similarly for days 30 and 1 here. Okay, so what is happening here? The amount for first 30 days is being calculated. Okay, and how it is being calculated? By multiplying 30 with this 60. So 30 times 60 gives us 1800, or we can say 1800. Similarly, the pending amount we have calculated for 60 rupees, but we need to calculate for 5 more, and we need to calculate this for this 5 more for the 30 days as well. So for that, here also we will be performing multiplication. So we will be multiplying 30 days with this 5, and we get how much? 150 rupees. Okay, so here we have calculated the amount for 30 days, but in the month of January there are a total of 31 days, so it means that we need to calculate for one more day. And how we are going to calculate it? By multiplying this 60 with this 1. So it means that for one day the amount is 60 rupees, but as this 65 has been broken into two parts, which is 60 and 5, so we need to calculate for this remaining 5 as well. So how we can calculate? By multiplying 1 with this 5. So 5 times 1 gives us 5. So in one single day the total amount would be 65, but here we have to calculate for the whole month of January. Okay, and how we are going to calculate? By adding the whole amount. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so the total amount, the total salary for the cook would be, we need to add 1800, 150. On adding these two amounts, we will get the amount for 30 days. But we need to calculate for 31 days. So it means that we need to calculate for one more day. So how we can calculate for one more day? By adding the 60 with this 5. So it means that we have to add all of these given amounts. So let's add together. 1800, add 150, add 60. We need to add 5 more. Zero add 0 add 0 add is 5. So here we get, here it would be 5. Similarly, we will be adding 5 with the 6. 5 add 6 gives us 11. So here we will be writing 1. The other one will be regrouped to the next column, and we'll be writing at the top of 8. So we'll be adding this 8 add 1 gives us 9, and we'll be adding this 1, it will become 10. So we'll be writing here 0, and again 1 will be grouped to this next column, and we'll be writing 1 at the top. Now 1 add 1 gives us 2. So the answer for this question would be 2015. So 2015 is the amount which Cook will get from the king. I think it must be clear to you. So let's write down 2015 here. Okay, so our final answer is 2015. So 2015 is the salary of Cook for the month of January. Now let's see what the next part is saying. Mani Ratnam's daughter Bela has learnt another method to multiply. She wrote like this and showed it to Bhanu, her brother. Okay, so 65 is the amount. 65 is the salary of Cook, which is per day. It means that in one single day Cook is getting 65 rupees. But we have to calculate for the month of January. And in the month of January, there are a total of 31 days. So if we multiply 65 directly with 31, we will get the answer. So let's see how this multiplication is actually working. We know that 31 comprises of 30 and 1. 31 comprises of 30 and 1. So what we will be doing first, we will be multiplying 65 with this 1 first. So 65 times 1 gives us 65. And after that, after solving for this 1, we need to multiply 65 with this 30. Okay. We can, here it is also given, we can multiply 65 with 31 in 2 steps. We know that 31 is 30 plus 1. So first multiply 65 with 1 and then with 30. So here also we did the same thing. We know that 31 comprises of 30 and 1. So initially we will be multiplying 65 with this 1 and we'll be writing this answer here. And after that we need to multiply 65 with this 30. And on multiplying 65 with 30, we get 1950. After performing these 2 steps, our final step is to add these 2 answers. So if we add these 2 numbers, which is 65 and 1950, let's see how much we will get. 0 add 5 will give us 5. 6 add 5 gives us 11. So we'll be writing 1 here. one will be the other one will be regrouped to the next column of 9. So 9 add 1 would gives us 10. So we'll be writing 0 here, and the other one will be regrouped to the next column, and 1 add 1 gives us 2. So our final answer is 2015. So this is another method of multiplication. Okay. So here we have calculated the salary for cook. Now let's see what the next part is saying. Now Bhanu tried to find the salary of a minister for the month of January. He wanted to multiply 195 with this 31. Why we are multiplying 195? Why not 65? This is because in this table we can see that the salary of a minister for a day is 195. We were multiplying it by 65 because for salary of cook it was 65 rupees. But here we have to calculate for minister, and its salary for a day is 195. So therefore we will be multiplying 195 with this 31. Why with 31? Because we have to calculate for the month of January, in which there are a total of 31 days. So let's do it together and let's see how much we will get on multiplying 195 with this 31 by following the same method which we have learned here. So here also 31 comprises of 1 and 30. So what we will be doing first? First we will be multiplying 195 with this one, and on doing so we get 195. After that, after solving for this one, we need to solve for this 30. So therefore we will be multiplying 195 with this 30, and let's see how much we will get. So 195, if we multiply 195 with this 30, for sure the last number would be 0. This is because we can see there is a 0 in 30. So we need to find out the remaining 3 number, and how we can figure it out? By multiplying 195 with this 3. So 3 times 5 gives us 15. One will be regrouped at the top, okay. Now we will be multiplying 3 with this 9. So 3 times 9 is 27, and we'll be adding this 1 and it will become 8. 28. 3 times 9 is 27, and on adding 1 we will get 28. So we'll be writing 8 here, 2 will be regrouped at its top, and we're writing 2 here. Now 3 times 1 is 3, and we'll be adding this 2. It will become 5. So 500, we are getting how much? 585. So let's write 5 here, 8 here, and 5 here. Now if we multiply 195 with this 30, we will get how much? We will get 5850. So we have now, yes, so now we will be adding these two numbers to get our final answer. So 0 add 5 would be 5. 9 add 5 would be 14. So we'll be writing 4 here, and 1 will be regrouped at the top. 8 add 1 gives us 9, and we'll be adding this 1, it will become 10. So we'll be writing 0 here, and again 1 will be regrouped to this 5, and 5 add 1 gives us 6. So our final answer for this multiplication is 6045. So 6045 rupees is the salary for minister for the month of January. Okay, in this way we can perform such multiplication by following this method. I hope it must be clear to you. Now let's have some practice. It's practice time. So here it is given that use Bela's method to multiply these numbers. So what is the Bela method? This column method of multiplication is Bela's method. So let's use this method in multiplying the given questions. Okay. So here we can see question A. It is given 32 times 46. So what we are going to do first? 46 comprises of 40 and 6. Let's write it here first. We need to multiply 46 with this 32. So for that, first we need to figure out, first we need to break this number into two parts. So we will break this number into tens and ones. And if we do so, we get 6 and 40. So if we apply the Bela's method here, what is going to be first step? First step would be we need to multiply 32 with this 6 first. And on multiplying 32 with this 6, we get 192, which is already given here. Now our second step would be 32. After solving for this 6, we need to solve for this 40. So we need to multiply 32 with this 40. So as we are multiplying 32 by this 40, for sure the last number would be 0 here, because at the end of 40 we can see 0. So it means that for sure there is going to be 1 0. Now what we'll be doing, we'll be multiplying 32 with this 4, because we have already added 1 tens, which is 0. So 32 times 4 would be, here it is going to be 8 here. 4 times 2 gives us 8. Now we will be multiplying 4 with this 3. 4 times 3 gives us 12. So we get how much? We get 128. So let's write it here. Here it would be 8. 2 would go here. And 1 would go right here. Okay. Now our final step would be we need to add these two numbers. We need to add 192 with this 1280. On adding it together, 0 add 2 would be 2. Now we will be adding 9 with this 8. If we add 9 with 8, we get 17. So we will be writing 7 here. 7 would go right here, and 1 will be regrouped to this next column. So 2 add 1 gives us 3, and 3 add another 1 gives us 4. So here it will be 4. And at the very end we can see only 1. So we'll be writing 1. So our final answer is how much? It is 1472. So on performing this multiplication, we get 1472. Okay. Now let's solve question B. Similarly, we will be applying the same method here. Here we need to multiply 67 with this 18. Okay. So first, what is going to be our first step? We need to break this 18 into two parts. We will be breaking it into tens and ones. So let's break it right here. Just let's first erase this. Okay. 18 comprises of 8 and 10. So our first step would be, we will be first multiplying 67 with this 8. So let's do it together. After multiplying 67 with this 8, we will be multiplying 67 with this 10. Okay. So if we perform multiplication 67 with this 8, 8 times 7 gives us 56. So here we will be writing 6. 5 will be regrouped to the next column and we'll be writing it at the top. Now we will be multiplying 8 with the 6, which is 8 times 6 gives us 48. 48 5 gives us 53. Let's write down 53 here. So on multiplying 67 with this 8, we get 536. Now our next step would be 60 times 10. So 67 times 10 gives us 670, which is already written here. Now after that, our final step would be to add these two numbers. So 0 add 6 gives us 6. Now we will be adding 7 with this 3. 7 add 3 gives us 10. So we'll be writing 0 here. 1 will be regrouped to the next column. 5 add 1 gives us 6 and 6 add 6 gives us 12. So we get how much? Our final answer is 1206. I hope this method must be clear to you. Okay, so in this way we can perform such multiplication. Now let's try to solve question number 2. Here it says, do this in your notebook using Bella's method. And here we can see there are a total of 6 questions: A, B, C, D, E, and F. Let's do it together. Okay. Let's start solving question A. So we can perform our question A here. 47 times 19. So here our first step is to break 19 into two parts, and if we do so we get 9 and 10. So we will be multiplying 47 with this 9 first. After that we will be multiplying it by 10. Okay. So 47 times 9. 9 times 7 gives us 63. So we'll be writing 3 and 6 will be regrouped to the next column. 4 times 9 is 36 and we'll be adding 6 and we get 43. Here it will be 42. Mistakenly 3 has been written here. Okay, so we get 42 here. Okay, so we have multiplied 47 with this 9. Now our next step is to multiply 47 with this 10. So 47 times 10, which is pretty easy, it will be 470. Now our final step is to add these two numbers. On adding these two numbers, we get 0 add 3 will be 3. 7 add 2 is going to be 9 here. 4 add 4 will be how much? It will be 8. So we get how much? We get 893. So our final answer for question A is 893. Let's write down here. Similarly, let's solve for question B. Question B says 188 times 91. So here also we will be using the same method. And what is going to be our first method, first step? It will be we need to break 91 into two parts. After breaking into two parts, we get 1 and 90. So first we will be multiplying 188 with this 1. So 188 times 1 gives us 188. Now we need to multiply it by 90. So as we are multiplying it by 90, in which we can see that at the end of it there is a 0. So it means that for sure the last number is going to be here would be 0. So we have solved for the 0 part. Now let's solve for this 9 part. And how we can solve it? By multiplying 188 times 9. And on multiplying 188 times 9, it would be 1692. 1692. So let's write it here. Let's write it in a proper alignment so that things do not get mixed up. So here, as we have written 0, 2 would go here, 9 would go right here, 6 will come here, and 1 would go right here. Okay, now our number seems to be in a proper alignment. Now our final step is to add these two numbers. So 0 add 8 gives us 8. So let's write 8 here. 8 add 2 gives us 10. So let's write down 0 here. 1 will be regrouped to the next column. Let's write 1 here. 9 add 1 gives us 10, and we adding this 1 we get 11. So let's write down 1 here. Now another 1 will be regrouped to the next column, which is of 6. So let's write down 1 here again. 6 add 1 gives us 7. So let's write down 7 here. And 1 add nothing gives us 1. So our final answer for this question is 17,108. So let's write down our final answer here just after B. 17,108 is the answer for question B. Now let's solve for question C. For question C, we need to multiply 63 with 57. So here also we can solve this question by following the same approach. We need to break this 57 into two parts. And if we do so, we get 7 and 50. So first we will be multiplying 63 with this 7. And on doing so, we get how much? Let's do it together. 7 times 3 gives us 21. So we'll be writing 1 here. 2 will be regrouped to the next column. 6 times 7 gives us 42. 42 add 2 gives us 44. So we get 441. So after multiplying 63 with the 7, we need to multiply it by 50. So as we are multiplying it by 50, in which we can see that at the end of it there is a 0. So it means that for sure the last number here would be 0. So as we have written down this 0, we are left with this 5. So therefore we need to multiply 63 with this 5. So 63 times 5 gives us 3 times 5 gives us 15. 1 will be regrouped to the next column, which is 6. 5 times 6 gives us 30, and we're adding 1. So we get 31. So our answer is 300 and we get how much? 315. So let's write down here. Let's put them in a proper alignment first. Okay, so we need to add 441 with this 3150. So on adding them together, we will get 0 add 1 gives us 1. 0 add 1 gives us 1. 5 add 4 gives us 9. 1 add 4 gives us 5. And 3 add nothing gives us 3. So our final answer is 3591. 3591 is the final answer for question number C. So let's write down here. 3591 is the final answer. Now let's solve for question D, in which we need to multiply 225 with this 22. So similarly, let's do it here. 225 times 22. So here also we need to break 22 into two parts, and if we do so, we get 2 and 20. So first we need to multiply 225 with this 2, and on multiplying 225 with 2, or we can say we need to double 225, and if we double 225, we get 450. So let's write down 450 here. Now we need to multiply 225 with this 20, and at the end of 20 we can see 0, so it means that here also our first number is going to be 0 here, right here. So 225 times 20. So as we have solved for the 0, we are left with 2. So again we have to multiply 225 with this 2, so we get 450 again. So let's do it here. Okay, so 0 add 0 gives us 0. Here it will be 0. 0 add 5 gives us 5. 5 add 4 gives us 9. And 4 add nothing gives us only 4. So our final answer is 4950. So let's write down just after D. 4950 is the final answer for question D. Okay, and here comes the next one, E. We need to multiply 360 with this 12. So let's do it here. For question E, 360 we have to multiply it by 12. So here also our first step is to break 12 into two parts, and if we do so we get 2 and 10. So we will be first multiplying 360 with this 2. So it means that we need to double 360. So double of 360 is 720. So let's write down 720 first. Okay, so we have solved for this 2. Now we need to solve for 10. So 360 times 10, and this is the very easiest one. It will gives us, we need to make 360 10 times bigger, and if we do so we get 3600. So let's write down 3600 here. Now we need to add them. Here it will be 0. 0 add 2 gives us 2. 6 add 7 gives us 13. And another one will be regrouped to this 3 and it will become 4. So we get 4320. So 4320 is the final answer for question E. 4320. And here comes the last one, which is 163 times 42. 163 times 42. So here also we need to follow the same thing. First we need to multiply 42 into two parts. And on doing so we get 2 and 40. So first we will be multiplying 163 with this 2. And we know that if we multiply any number with 2, it means that we are just doubling it. So double of 163 gives us 326. So let's write down here 326 here. And after solving for this 2, we need to solve for this 40. And here in this 40 we can see that there is a 0. It means that it is going to be 0 here. Now we need to multiply 163 with this 4. And on doing so we get 652. So let's write it here. Now we need to add these two numbers. On adding them together, 0 add 6 gives us 6. 2 add 2 gives us 4. 5 add 3 gives us 8. And 6 add nothing would be 6. So our final answer is 6846. So let's write down here 6846 is our final answer for question F. So we have solved all of these 6 questions successfully, and I hope it must be clear to you. So these are the things which we have learned today, and please don't forget to revise it. Let's have a quick review of things which we have learned today. So here we have learned two methods. The first method, which we have solved it by the help of tables, in which we have broken the amount as well as the days. Here we have broken 65 into two parts, which is tens and ones. So 60 here and 5 here, 5 ones here and 6 tens here. And in the month of January, there are how many days? 31. So we have broken 31 into again tens and ones. Here we can see 1 ones here and 3 tens here. So we have solved for 30 days here, and for in this row we have solved for 1 day. And on performing such multiplication, we have just added all these outputs and we get our final answer, which is 2015. And in multiplication, this is our column multiplication. What we have learned, what was our first step? Our first step is to break the number into two parts, tens and ones. So 31 has been broken into 30 and 1. So it means that we need to first multiply 30 with this 1, and after solving for this 1, we need to multiply 65 with this 30. After performing such multiplication, we get 65, and at the bottom we get 1950. After that, our final step is to add these two numbers. On adding them together, we get 2015. So this was all about Bela's method. So these are the things which we have learned today, and please don't forget to revise it. We will be continuing with the same lesson in our next session. Okay? Okay, take care. Bye bye.